Makonda Show.
You are listening to the Mara Mukonda Show on Salam Media. It is 12:40 on this Wednesday, the 13th of January, 2021. Can governments' failure to tackle the effects of climate change represent a violation of human rights? Let's find out with the director of Earthlife, Makoma Lekalakala. Good day, Makoma, and thank you for joining me today. Okay, it seems like we have lost Makoma. We will try to establish a connection once again with her. The environmental group Earthlife said government's failure to tackle the effects of climate change represents a violation of human rights due to its impact on the poor and vulnerable. It said despite South Africa's repeated declarations to address climate change, the state is still proposing further exploitation of coal, gas, and oil. Earthlife Director Makoma Lekalakala said that this will only aggravate the situation, the climate situation, but also lock the country into a treacherous carbon intense future. She will be joining us once in a moment once we re-establish the connection. And you do know that we are living in an era of online technology. So everything that we're doing is broadcast online. And sometimes we do get hiccups, but we go with the flow. If you have any comments or questions for Makoma, you can send them to us on WhatsApp. The number is 061 Alternatively, you can call us in studio on 01088023996 and follow us on our social media handles. Use the hashtag The Mara Mukonda Show on Salam Media. Sorry, use the hashtag The Mara Mukonda Show and hashtag Salam Media. Uh, if you are listening to us wherever you are, thank you for choosing Salam Media as your broadcast of choice. And don't forget to follow us, like us, and follow us on our social media platforms. We are on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. And yeah, let us know what you think. Because we would love to listen to you. We would love to know what you think as well. So I'm going to be chatting to Makoma in a moment. Last year, we had an interesting discussion about South Africa being one of the countries with the highest radiation. Uh, yeah, was it the highest readings of irradiation in the country? So in the world, rather, not even in the country. So that is scary. I mean, if you think about it, radiation, South Africa, and this is all due to the minings that happened in the 1800s. Like if you see the White Mountains in the Joburg South area, that those White Mountains are not something to be proud of. They're not something to look at and be like, oh wow, yay. Those are actually dangerous debris, and they are causing health problems to the people who are living in and around the area. And we got to chat to Makoma Lekalakala about this last year. So South Africa is also going to embark on a nuclear power based on the affordability, and Earthlife voiced their opposition to the possibility of South Africa's use of nuclear power in the future, saying it has a negative climate change impact and it is costly. So what do we have to say as a community? How can we get involved, and who do we hold accountable for such situations? So let us find out if Makoma is back on the line so that we can chat to her. Makoma,
Hi.
hi. Thank
Good
you for
afternoon.
joining us. All right. So quickly tell us, how is this a violation of human rights?
Hi, Mariam.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, it was very strange. If you could please repeat the question.
Okay, how is this a violation of human rights, government's failure to tackle the effects of climate change?
Oh, thank you very much. As we know that the negative impacts of climate change results in the droughts that we're experiencing, in climate-induced natural disasters like your floods that the people of Zimbabwe and Mozambique have experienced, and also along the coast of KZN, people are experiencing floods continuously. So those are climate-induced negative impacts of climate change. But what is important is the right to people to access clean drinking water and also to be able to be food secure. So this is not happening since the government is continuously authorizing climate and environmental disaster projects. We've seen how they were wanting to authorize the Talameti coal-fired power plant, which we fought in the court and also on the ground for them to reverse it. So if this coal-fired power plant was authorized, that would mean that the scarce water resources that we have in the country were going to be diverted to the coal-fired power plant in the waterbed area. And we actually have saved the country 12.7 billion that would have been released, that would have been taken to support the construction of the plant. And that money now can be used for other social service delivery needs of people. And we see the government also authorizing gas drilling in the west coast of the country. And that gas drilling would mean that the gas drilling is done by foreign companies, mostly Australian, that would not be allowed to do that in their own country. So in a way that people's right to food, people's right to clean air, people's right to clean air, people's right to food is being compromised. So that's how we see climate change as a human rights issue, and that our government, not only in South African government, but it's all the governments should be sensitive to and make sure that they mitigate against climate change.
So the failures from government side that you've just mentioned, has any efforts to put government to task from environmental organizations like Earthlife worked?
Yes, we have taken the government to court. One is that the government has made international commitment to reduce greenhouse gas emissions, and because they were not really following that, so also legislation of the country, regulations of the country are very clear. So we have to take the government to court. That's why I was mentioning the Talameti coal-fired power station. We also have taken the government to court over the nuclear bill, what they were proposing to build, which also has got a climate change impact and a human rights violation impact. And now lately, our partner organizations as part of Life After Coal have taken the government to court over the excessive pollution that is taking place in the Mpumalanga area around Witbank, where people are unable to breathe. So there's a case that we call a deadly air case, and we're saying to particularly Department of Environment, there's minimum emission standards that need to be adhered to. Companies like corporations like Eskom and Sasol have got to comply with the minimum emission standards, and we don't see them doing that, and that's why we're taking them to court to hold them accountable, that they have an obligation to protect the South African environment and also protect the people of South Africa.
And what needs to be done, and how can citizens help? Because the most affected are the poor and vulnerable.
Yes. There's so much that can be done. I think firstly, as individual citizens, we have to play our part. And this is what environmental justice organizations have been doing for quite a long time. and of raising issues of not just keeping quiet and saying everything is normal. There's so much abnormality around us. If you live in an area and you find yourself being affected by the environment that it's always the air is always polluted, you are unable to drink, you are unable to even have your food gardens, you become food insecure. These are some of the issues that people need to raise. But then I think it's time that as a country, South Africa walks its talk, and then government, we don't have to remind them. I mean, there's no use for us going to court every time to remind them of their obligations of protecting the environment. They have to fulfill their duty to protect the environment. So there's so much that we can do. And one thing is to speak up and not keep quiet if there's anything that you feel uncomfortable about.
Mm-hmm. All right. Thank you so much for your time, Makoma. And if people would like to know more, where can they get more information?
Earthlife, we are on social media. Our Twitter handle is at Earthlife Johannesburg. And the Facebook page is also Earthlife Johannesburg. And our website is www.earthlife.org.za. And people are welcome to send in their comments or questions on those pages.
All right. Thank you so much for your time and have a wonderful day. Bye-bye.
Thank you very much.
That was Earthlife Director Makoma Lekalakala taking us through what government's failures to tackle the effects of climate change, and they have taken to government to court to hopefully held them accountable. Government needs to be held accountable for their actions, as these actions are detrimental to the poor and vulnerable. And now, more during this time of the pandemic that we're already facing, as if that is not enough, we have to face another issue. Like this exploitation of coal, gas, and oil. You can visit Earthlife, www.earthlife.org. Yeah, earthlife.org. That is the name of the organization, Earthlife, one word. And they are also on social media, Facebook and Twitter. And you can also voice your opinions and you can take a stand as well, because they need the people's voices stand up for what is happening, and let's hold government accountable for their actions. It is a 12:52. Just stay with us. We'll be right back.